What's up, everybody? I would go live, chat with some people, reach out to subscribers and buddies that follow the channel. See if people jump in and chat with me a little bit in the chat room. I'm going to go into 5 things that help me with ME. I have a video where I mentioned that, but it's pretty old. I've changed a lot of different things. Some of them are the same, but I use different products and stuff like that. So I thought I would share some things that have helped my symptoms and my ME in general. The first thing that I've changed since that last video is the probiotic that I use. I use Visbiome. It's a strong probiotic and has made a big difference in gut issues that I've had. I recommend it to anyone that's dealing with gut issues, dysbiosis type issues. That's helped quite a bit. And Florastore is another probiotic that I use. I take them together once a day, sometimes twice a day, depending on how I feel. And that's helped my gut the most out of all the different. I've tried a lot of different probiotics, and those have helped the most. My doctor recommended those, and those definitely work the best for me. So that's number one. I noticed that when I get my gut feeling right, brain fog goes down a little bit, the fatigue goes down a little bit. I think a lot of stuff starts with the gut. So that's a big one for me is getting the gut right. Along with the probiotics and stuff, though, and I've mentioned this many times before, is I reduce sugar and processed food and all the common sense things that affect our bodies and our stomach negatively. So I do those things. The other thing, and I made a video on this as well, is LDN. I didn't have this on the top 5 things that really helped me. LDN, low dose naltrexone. If you haven't heard of it, I have a video on it explaining what it is. Between the probiotics and the LDN, I would say those really helped a lot. The other one is Epsom salt baths. The muscle aches and the pains and the joint pain, all those things can really wear you down. They bring on fatigue because you're dealing with pain. So Epsom salt baths are very important in my regimen to doing like simple things that help make me feel better. So we got high quality probiotics, we got LDN, and then we got Epsom salt. And I do that at, a few times a week sometimes. And the trick is to use a lot of it, not just like a half a cup or a cup. One thing that is different than I was doing before is I take fish oil. I take a lot of it, and I've noticed that that's helped quite a bit with inflammation and just help systematically quite a bit. I see someone saying hello from California. How are you? I'm also in California. Hope you're well. So fish oil, I got a high quality one. Really, you got to just test out which one works for you. The ones that kind of make you have that like burping sensation with fish oil taste, that's usually a low quality vitamin. But it really depends on which one works for you and which one doesn't. Another thing that I've added is milk thistle. Milk thistle has helped not only my stomach, but I think just kind of detoxing a little bit. And the reason that I know it worked is because I had high liver enzymes and certain tests that were a little bit alarming. Milk thistle kind of helped everything subside quite a bit. So those are just a few things that I've been doing more lately than I used to. I also take B12 more religiously than I used to. CoQ10 I also take, but it really depends on the brand. I've noticed that depending on the brand, I get kind of jittery, almost like I drink a lot of coffee, and that's not good for us. So that's one thing that I've added as well. I'm curious to see what other people are taking, because you kind of, with ME, you find things that work and then you stick to them for a long time. And if you don't communicate with others on platforms like this or support groups or people that you know with this illness, it's hard to know what's working, what other people are taking, and what's worked for them. That was part of the reason also I wanted to make this video. I love chatting with people and hearing from certain people and reading the comments and stuff. So that's part of it too. But I really like to see what people are taking and what works for them. I feel like talking to other ME sufferers is the best way to kind of gauge where you're at and to learn, because I don't think doctors really know that much. Even the ones that have great intentions and are well educated on ME, they don't really know what works and what doesn't. We know from trial and error. So let me know what supplements are you taking, and obviously these are just basic things. I wouldn't really call these treatments, but maybe LDN is a treatment, but everything else is just supplementation and diet and simple things you could do right away. When I made the video about 5 basic things, some people didn't like the video because they're like, these don't fix ME and this does nothing to improve ME, and they're just basic things. They're not really intended to cure anything, but they are intended to help your symptoms a little bit. Part of this illness is treating the symptoms while finding things that make you significantly better. So if you could take CoQ10 and B12 and have more energy, I think that's a great thing to do. Another thing that I find very interesting that's in the news a lot is the COVID long haulers. A lot of people are starting to have ME-like illness after COVID. And more in the news, you start to see ME, CFS in the news. You could do a simple Google search COVID, ME, CFS, and you're going to start to see more and more. There's research going into it and seeing like why there's COVID long haulers. I really hope people don't develop chronic illness or ME from COVID. I don't wish that on anybody. But on the silver lining is we will probably get more research if that does happen, and it looks like it is happening. I actually know a couple of people that have had COVID and have not fully recovered after many months. They're better. They're not, they don't have a fever and they're able to walk around, but they're dealing with fatigue, shortness of breath, brain fog, joint pain, a lot gut issues, a lot of things that mimic ME. So yeah, I also wanted to reach out to everybody, see if anyone's had COVID, and also if you have ME, what was it like symptomatically? How are you feeling now? I know some people with ME that have had it and they had a really hard time with it, but they're okay now, mostly. But I am very curious to see what everybody has experienced out there. The more information we share, the better. Another thing that I have done since making the last video about 5 things that really helped me is I'm kind of on a paleo diet. I eat a lot of meat, low carb diet, low sugar diet, and that's helped quite a bit. It's helped the stomach issues quite a bit, bloating, things like that, and it's helped energy as well too. I feel just a little lighter on my toes. It's just different. I notice that when I start to eat a lot of bread or pasta or sugar, I just feel kind of bogged down, even if I'm having a good, healthy day. So yeah, so I see just a couple people in the chat. One of you is from California. Alicia, where are you from? I'd like to know where you're from, if that's all right. And what part of California is Tata, how you say it? Sorry if I said that wrong. What part of California are you from? I'm in Orange County. Awesome. Kansas? Is that Kansas? I should put my glasses on. I could barely read. I forgot them. But looks like we have someone from New Zealand. Love the channel. What's your supplement stack? Thank you. I appreciate it. I just mentioned a little bit. I take B12. I take fish oil. I take milk thistle. And those are kind of my supplements right now. Vitamin C, I forgot, I take that every day. And CoQ10 from time to time, depending on the brand. Sometimes it makes me feel a little bit jittery, so just kind of depends. But right now, that's kind of my go-to. Oh, and probiotics, which I guess is a supplement. I take high potency probiotics. The brand is Visbiome and Floristore. I take them combined, and it really settled my stomach down. So anybody out there with ME, CFS that has had stomach issues, I highly recommend really finding a probiotic that works for you. It's hard. A lot of them I feel like don't really work. Visbiome has a lot of independent studies showing that it works. A lot of these companies get their own studies done and then kind of just make any claims that they want. So I think it's very important to find the right one. Read the type of bacteria it has, research it a little bit, and how strong they are. I feel like it could do more harm than good if you're taking something that's too strong too often. But talk to your doctor. You know, I don't really know. I'm not a doctor. I can't advise on that. But I do know from trial and error, I've taken some that are too strong, and it had the opposite effect that I was hoping it would have. It made everything a lot worse. Another thing that I was doing that really made me, I noticed a big difference in how well I felt, which I can't really do anymore because of COVID, is I was getting massages often. Slow, like lymphatic type massages, just to kind of get the blood flowing, the lymphatic system stimulated a little bit. I felt like that helped a lot. Now, you know, everything's kind of shut down, even though technically everything's open, but a lot of massage places or people that come to your home, they're not doing that anymore because of COVID and obvious reasons. But that's something that I feel like helped a lot. And also just with the general muscle pain and neck pains, headaches, migraines, I feel like that really helps a lot. And if you get a massage therapist that really knows what they're doing, you tell them that you have migraines and what type of joint pain, and they know how to focus on certain areas to really help you out with that. Like whenever I get migraines, I would go get a massage, and there's this one therapist would know exactly what part of my neck, my upper shoulders to focus on, and almost immediately my migraine would get a lot better. Wouldn't completely go away, but it would be significantly better. And then I would do an Epsom salt bath, and then, you know, everything to kind of get the soreness out. Jason, you're asking how my brain fog is doing these days. Honestly, it's just day to day. I guess today, anytime I do a video, it's not as bad. But it's generally pretty bad on a day-to-day basis. Whenever I get that break from the brain fog, that's kind of when I try to hop on here and do a video, because I can communicate somewhat decently. But I would say I deal with brain fog almost every day. It's just a matter of how severe it is. Last week, I had pretty severe brain fog, and I really didn't do a whole lot of anything other than trying to feel better, but I pretty much shut down. I couldn't really do what I normally do and communicate the way I like to communicate. I think people in my family know when I have brain fog, I get real quiet and kind of antisocial. And at this point, I've had this for 15 years, so they kind of just know to kind of just let me do my own thing until I feel a little bit better. They offer some help here and there. I'm lucky to have family like that. But yeah, it's the worst. I've touched on it a little bit in other videos where I think it might be the worst symptom, really. For me, at least. I know some people are dealing with debilitating fatigue and they can't even get out of bed. So for them, I'm sure it's different. But for me, I think the brain fog is probably the worst one. It stops you from doing anything. I mean, it's brutal. So looks like you're close to Sacramento there, 23 miles from state capital Sacramento. You have autoimmune issues. Thanks for doing this. Oh, thanks for watching. It's my pleasure doing this. I'm honored to speak on this stuff. I know a lot of people don't have the time or the resources or the health. And I think the more people we get talking about this, the better. I have other friends that have immune illnesses, from lupus to fibro, and I'm encouraging them to get on and talk about their experience as much as possible, because I feel like there's just not enough out there. I mean, YouTube's starting to have more and more. There's more channels, but we don't have anyone representing us a whole lot. And although I don't have a giant audience, it's important to just have someone talking about this stuff, anybody. And that's why I try to get on here as much as I can. And I hope that there's people with lupus and fibro that hop on and do this too, MS, and just put a face and show people that the average person catches it and is dealing with it, and they look just like anybody else. And a lot of people don't know what ME looked like. They either pictured someone laying in a bed or complaining, basically, and nothing in between is what I've seen. So it's important for me to show people I'm just like a regular dude who just has this illness, and I look like anybody else, and my day's like anybody else, but I'm just dealing with a chronic illness on a day-to-day basis, managing symptoms. So yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Let me see. Jason, so it looks like it's the same for you. Definitely the worst symptom for you. Yeah, I can relate, Jason, because I think it's the worst symptom too. It's just like one day everyone has different types of personalities. Some people are creative, some people are organized, some people, whatever your skill set may be up here, it seems to diminish when you have brain fog. So it's almost like what good is having energy if you have the brain fog? You can't really use the energy how you would like. And that's the part that's frustrating. You may have a ton of energy and then get brain fog, and you're kind of just like incapable of doing the things that you want to do. And it's frustrating, sometimes embarrassing. I'll be around friends, and when it kicks in, I just blank on stuff and mid-sentence. And they're lifelong friends of mine. Luckily, they're pretty cool people and they get it. But when I am around people I don't know and I have a flare-up like that, they definitely look at me kind of weird. But I don't really care. I'm used to it at this point. Jason says, I found it's gotten better after 10 years, but still the most troubling symptom. Jared Younger, is that what that says? I'm going to wear my glasses next time. I'm not going to forget. I can't see anything. Fantastic research into brain fog and neuroinflammation. Interestingly enough, I had vestibular neuritis, which is an infection in the ear. It's like a viral infection, and I think it caused some inflammation in my brain. And it took me, I'm still not completely better, but I lost my balance. Anytime I moved my head, I would get dizzy. And I think having ME made it a lot worse, because I think we already have some neuroinflammation in different parts of the brain. That's, I think, been proven already, but I think it made the whole situation worse. So I had to kind of learn how to, I don't want to over dramatize, but I know how to walk, but I had to learn how to walk again while moving my head. So if I would walk and someone would call my name and I would look over, I would get really dizzy. And I had to recalibrate how to do that. And that took about 9 months until I felt confident to drive a car or ride a bike, which I don't do very often, but because of my health, I can't really ride a bike too often. But I rode it around the neighborhood just to see if I got my balance back, and it took a long time. So it was pretty brutal for a while. Let's see. Alicia, it's happened at work. Oh yeah. That's probably the worst place it could happen. No one there has any type of sympathy. They just want you to get your work done. Especially in the US, here is just do your job and shut up. It's not like Europe or South America, different parts of the world that I've been to, and it's life first, work second. Here it's work until your hands bleed, and if you can't work that hard, we'll find someone who will. And especially now, I don't know if you're working now with everything with COVID, it's like there's such a high unemployment rate that people are doing 2 jobs to keep their job, and employers are like, well, if you don't like it, we'll find there's 50 other people that'll take your job, so don't complain. So yeah, I at work it must be pretty bad. Let's see, crypto. Hey, for me, listen for a while. Have you seen that new show? I have not heard that show. I'll write it down and check it out. What's it about? If you don't mind telling me in the comment. I have not. And what cryptos do you like? If that's what your name is about. I'm curious. You feel alone dealing with your health issues. I've subscribed. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you for subscribing. I'm sorry that you feel alone. I could assure you you're not alone, though. There's a lot of us that feel exactly like you. We're all dealing with that to some degree. It is a very isolating illness. Aside from physical symptoms, like I'm saying, brain fog and some of the things people are mentioning in the comments, the isolation and the loneliness that comes with this illness is probably the hardest part to deal with, the non-symptomatic part to deal with, because sometimes family doesn't get it, coworkers don't get it, friends don't get it, and even the ones who are trying to get it don't, even though they have good intentions. And, God bless them for trying, but no one knows what this illness is like unless someone else has it. And yeah, so I'm sorry that you feel alone. There's a lot of stuff happening right now as far as research. I'm going to get into that in a future video. I think help is on the way, so hang in there. Crypto, Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, right on. I like it. I got similar interests. Blessed Hope, hey there, how are you? Thanks for joining. Alicia, I think we all go through that. Oh yeah, see, everyone can relate. So Alicia is a perfect example of how you're not alone. We all get it. Other people in your life that you see might not get it, but this community that we have here gets it. That's one reason I want to do more lives. My content is not as interesting, I don't think, as doing a regular video, but I just like people hopping in, talking, commenting, hearing from people, because I think it's important to just have this communication and share how you feel about this. There's not a lot of opportunity to share how you feel about this illness with people in your day-to-day life, even if they get it. If I tell a family member my brain fog is really bad, they're not going to get it. They're going to have sympathy, and that's great, but they're not going to get it. Jason, on the other hand, here knows exactly what I'm talking about. If I say I'm having really bad brain fog, I don't need to explain anything to him. He's going to get it. And I'm sure the rest of you who have had brain fog get it. So yeah, let's see, what else did I want to bring up here? Oh, how many people, and I know more people will watch this after the fact, not just during the live, but how many people deal with insomnia? That's another really bad symptom. That's a bad one. I actually may change my mind here and say I think that one's worse than brain fog, because if you have insomnia, it brings on brain fog and it makes brain fog worse. And sleepless nights for 2-3 days in a row is horrific. So I think I'm gonna bump up really bad insomnia as like 1A and brain fog 1B. To me, those are like just really, really bad. You don't sleep well, you have fatigue. You don't sleep well, you have brain fog. You don't sleep well, your gut issues can get better, your inflammation can get better, neuroinflammation gets worse. It doesn't get better, it gets worse. And it's a bad one. So it looks like Blessed Hope. Yeah, you, Alicia, you. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's a hallmark of this illness. I think I'm not a doctor. I don't. What I'm saying is not. It's not backed by science, but I feel like the overall inflammation that we have, low grade inflammation, is part of why we have insomnia. I think certain parts of our brain are inflamed, and I also don't think our lymphatic system works properly, and we're just not getting rid of those toxins like everybody else. And you ever feel like you're just toxic? It's just like you have it's hard to explain. So I'm hoping maybe some of you guys get it, but I just feel almost poisoned. And unless you get that proper sleep and that proper diet and everything, it starts to subside. But that's how I feel sometimes when I have really bad insomnia. I just feel sick. Yeah, the insomnia is like one of the worst things. I've taken prescriptions for sleep. I hate them, but it's kind of the only way I sleep. I did the whole melatonin thing and the natural stuff and ZMA, and it was like child's play to me. I would take it and just like not even tired but wired. Who else feels tired but wired? Where you're just like, you wish you can just sleep and you're wired. Your legs restless. You're moving around in bed like you're tired, but still kind of full of energy at the same time, which is not something I can explain very easily to someone who has not had ME or insomnia. Tired but wired. It's a very cruel symptom. Blessed Hope, you're on anti-nausea meds 24 hours. I'm sorry to hear that. Nausea is a very terrible symptom that I dealt with for some time. I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. That's not fun. Another thing that I wanted to touch on, and I hope I'm not making this too long. Wow, it's already been 27 minutes. Have you guys noticed that most people that have ME, and I wish there was like a study that kind of went into this, most people that have ME, if you talk to them about what they were doing before they got sick, life before the illness, almost everybody that I speak to, they were like overachievers. They were like go-getters in their career. Or some of them were stay-at-home mom with 4 kids, and they were doing a killer job at being a mom with 4 kids. Like just people that were type A, as I see you that you put on there. Like, yes, I feel like all of us are like that. And it's not really spoken about a lot. I was thinking about making a video about it, but there's just not enough data to make a video and kind of just tell people. So I thought I would bring it up now. Blessed Hope, I was a super mom. And we're full-time. That's what I keep finding out. Like before I got sick, I was in college taking a full amount of classes. I would go to the gym at like 5:30 in the morning. I had a social life. I would come home, work on stuff in my house, help my family with stuff, help my mom with stuff. My dad passed away when I was young, so I always am kind of trying to help my mom with things that she needs help with. I was just like nonstop. Then I got a second job, so I was working 2 jobs in college, and it all kind of came crumbling down. So I was definitely at least trying to be an overachiever. I don't know if I ever overachieved or not, but I was trying. It says that you're saying, what is that, MC Funwow? I like your name. I believe that has something to do with it, the fact that we push our systems too hard. I think so too. I think that's not spoken about enough. And I wish more attention was, I wish more people looked into that, the science and medical community, because I definitely was going too hard. And I think I pushed myself over the edge. I grew up playing sports, and I wasn't the most athletic gifted athlete, but not many people outworked me. That was kind of my niche, is I out hustled everybody that was much more talented than me. And that's kind of how I found my niche as a kid. I never played any serious sports when I got older, but I've pushed and pushed and pushed through. Part of the reason why I get upset when people say graded exercise therapy can make you better, because that implies that it takes effort to get better from ME. I made a video about that. Science proves that's not true for the vast majority of people, but I'm not ill because of any lack of effort, and neither are any of you guys. I know that for sure. But yeah, I think the type A personality has to play a role in this. And I wish more doctors understood that, because a lot of people go to the doctor, and this happens more with women, I think, but it happens to all of us. We'll go to the doctor and they kind of think you're lazy or you're making excuses, and that's not the type of people we are for the most part. So it's even more infuriating. We don't like to hear that. No, not that pushing is wrong for a healthy person, but for us, with something going wrong, like infections and trauma, it brings us down. I agree. Yeah, I think it's great to push yourself. Although I think everyone has a limit, psychologically, physically, emotionally. But it is good to push yourself. It's healthy. It's good for many different aspects. Mental health, confidence, success. I mean, you have to push yourself. It's a vital part of life. But I do think, like, people who've had health issues or traumas or whatever, it may be a trigger to something. So yeah, I had I was a really healthy kid, but I got chickenpox at 14, and I got the worst case several doctors had ever seen. And I think that kind of did a number on my body. And then I grew up and overdid it. And I think that kind of turned into a big issue for me. Oh, sorry to hear about your father. Thanks. Yeah, my father passed away when I was 10. That was tough. I guess that's trauma. That could have led to my immune system having issues. Who knows? I do think trauma has something to do with it. There are studies showing that if you have traumas at a young age, your immune system isn't quite the same when you're older. The interview I did with a friend of mine who has fibro, she kind of touched on that a little bit. She had some traumas as a kid, and she has fibro. And there have actually been some studies, like I just mentioned, that do link traumas, near-death experiences or car accidents, things that just like really traumatize children, being separated from their parents, things like that. They grow up to have some type of health issues. I think the body's still developing. I think the brain's still developing. Who knows? I don't know, but there's definitely something going on there. Blessed hope, you have to honor your limits now. Yeah, same here. I have to stay within a certain pace or I'm in big trouble. I usually wear a Fitbit on my wrist, not wearing it right now, but it's charging, so I'm gonna wear it after this. And I try to keep my heart rate below a certain level, so that I don't bring on crashes and overdo it. So that's a big one. Alicia, that really sets you off when they say that. I'm assuming the doctors, yeah, me too. Or when they say it's psychological. Yeah, that's a frustrating comment. I've given some doctors a piece of my mind when they've said that. But yeah, let's see. Me too. Doctor visits made me more depressed. Early on, it made me more. I've never had depression really, ever growing up. Even dealing with like my father passing at a young age, I never really was depressed. And I would say that going to the doctor with hopes to get better, looking for answers, and then them saying, you're fine. I think you're over exaggerating, or you're lazy, or it's a psychological issue, or you're hypochondriac, or all those things. I think I experienced depression for a bit after that, because I believed in our medical system. I believe that when you go to the doctor, they give you answers. I was naive still, I was like 21. And I was like, I have a problem. I'm going to go to the doctor, maybe a few different times, maybe a specialist. They'll run some tests. They'll figure it out. And if I have an issue that's lifelong, they'll give me treatments. I was wrong. And yeah, there's so many levels to this illness. The family, the work, the friends, the doctor telling you BS, basically. being blamed for the illness, forgiving yourself for being sick, mourning your old healthy self, mourning your career, mourning your social life. There's different levels to this for sure. And I get so mad when people say that people are complaining, stop complaining, you have ME, don't complain. Other people with illnesses, don't complain. Or you're making a video saying, fight for me, you're complaining, blah, blah, blah. I don't think a lot of these people would last. I don't think people would be able to survive in our shoes for a day that have never experienced this. There's so much to deal with this illness. And that's just not dealing with bills and family and regular life drama that everyone deals with. There's so much going on with this. And when people say that people with fibro are complaining about aches and pains, like, I get pissed off. It's just like, come on, you wouldn't last a day in my shoes. Let's see, what else? Me too, my doctor visits, maybe depressed. I've just gone on a few ME Facebook pages and asked them to join us. Oh, awesome. Thanks, I appreciate that. And the more the merrier. And please write in the comments any topics you want to chat about, because this is a good time for me to bring up whatever you guys want to have heard amongst other people. A lady and a piano, I like your name. My heart rate was high. My heart rate was high all the time. Sorry, I don't have my glasses, so I can't really see. Now it's only every now and then. I still feel crappy, believe it or not, but thankful. Yeah, I have times where my heart rate is through the roof for no reason. No anxiety, no nothing. I'll just be like watching a cartoon movie on TV and it'll happen, or I'll be eating, or it'll just randomly happen. It's weird. Let's see, believe in doctors too, such a rude awakening. You're fine. No, the hell I'm not. Yeah. I don't mean to laugh, but it's I've been there so many times. Like, I think since this all started for me 15 years ago, or around 15 years ago, I've probably had to say that exact thing to a doctor probably close to 100 times. I mean, I've seen over 100 doctors easy. When I was younger, I definitely drained my mom's retirement with fees, with medical bills. Yeah, I think that's guilt I have to carry around. I feel bad, I know I'm her son, she would do that for me, and most moms would do that for their kid, but we just spent so much money on medical bills. It was so ridiculous. But yeah, doctors can be a godsend, but most of the time they're the worst. Let's be honest, in my experience. Let's see here. Most of us have PTSD from the treatment we've experienced at the hands of the medical community. Yeah, my PTSD has subsided and has just turned out to flat out anger. I don't really take much from doctors. Well, the doctor I have now is amazing. I would never be upset with him. But those type of doctors, I just get so mad. But it took me a long time to just kind of accept that that's how doctors are. They got really big egos. Think about ME patients is another thing you guys might be able to agree with. Is a lot of us are very well read on health stuff in relation to us. We're not medical experts by any stretch of the imagination, but we've had to be our own advocates and read so much about ME and CFS, neuroinflammation, aches and pains, and vitamins and supplements, that we go in there with a relatively educated assessment of our health. And if the doctor doesn't agree or doesn't know what they get really defensive, and they do not like that. They'll cut you off, they'll get frustrated, and they get a little bit threatened. And that's what happens when you have a giant ego. So luckily I found a doctor that doesn't have an insecure giant ego and listens to me and tells me that's not how it works. you're totally wrong. And that's where his education and expertise kicks in. And sometimes he says, you did a great job researching. You have a point, and I'm going to look into that. And that's a very rare thing for a doctor. But let's see. I don't know what Kitty wrote on there. Didn't see it. It looks like she was in the wrong chat. Almost all the doctors I saw want to put you on antidepressants. They think it's all in my head. That's frustrating. Yeah, that's what I started to tell doctors is, do you ever notice when they would tell me that, I'd say, do you ever notice that when a doctor doesn't have an answer, they blame the patient? Can you please take a different approach other than blaming me? Let's try everything else other than antidepressants. And if we can't figure it out and we can't assess any other route, maybe 6 months, a year down the road, I'm open to that. I'm not against it. But why don't we do other tests? Why don't you read up on ME a little bit and let's, reconvene? That's either going to piss them off quite a bit or they might do that. But yeah, most doctors go straight to the antidepressant. It's really annoying. Yeah. Let's see. Your body cannot tolerate, blessed hope your body can't tolerate medications. I have a lot of chemical sensitivity. I react weird to medications as well. I think it's a normal thing for ME, CFS, to be honest. May I ask your first name and where you live roughly? My name's Johnny, and if you're talking to me, you might be talking to someone else in the chat. I don't know. And I am from Southern California, Orange County to be exact. Let's see. Actually, I have a lady and a piano. You have plots. And kidney stones are brutal. You acquired a superbug at the hospital. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. I had PTSD for 2 years from that. Was it C. diff? Did you get C. diff in the hospital, or what superbug did you get? I'm sorry to hear that. That's scary, and I hope you're feeling better from that. Wow, yeah. Whenever I go to a hospital, I worry a lot about that. Let's see. Too bad the animals have gone. Yes, blame the patient. That's my favorite game. You're overweight, depressed, anxious. Yeah, right. So, MC Fun. Wow, that's a good comment because, excuse me, I keep getting calls here. That's a good comment, and that happens a lot. And of course, you're going to be overweight if you can't move around and you're bedridden and have fatigue. You're going to be depressed if you're bedridden. You're going to have anxiety if you don't know what's going on with you. Why can't they put 2 and 2 together? It's common sense. I mean, people who are sick and aren't getting better get depressed and get anxiety, and people who are sedative, they gain weight. I mean, it's just like, I feel like you don't need 12 years of school to figure that out. Maybe I'm wrong. ESBL superbug. Yeah, so it's sepsis. Oh wow, that's brutal. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Wow. I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's kind of everybody's nightmare, going to a hospital, right? Is that you go into a situation like that. But yeah. Let's see. I think I covered everything I had in my notes to kind of bring up. Any other topics that you guys want to discuss, throw in the chat. I'll stick around a little bit longer, and then it's dinner time for me. Blessed hope, anyone you're having trouble dating with ME, CFS. I'm sure a lot of people have problems dating with CFS. Imagine, I mean, like, dating with CFS, it's like, first of all, just dating in general is not easy, right? You have to go, you have to go meet someone new and you're kind of just judging each other, feeling each other out. And if you have all these issues, health issues, there's probably like, what's going on here? Not being able to be dependable when setting a date, your lifestyle is different, and then having to like, even if you do hit it off, you have to explain to them what your lifestyle is like, what the illness is about. I'm sure it's really not easy. I'm sure it's really not easy to do. Yeah. Do I have live chats on a regular basis? I don't have live chats on a regular basis. If that's something people want to do, I'm open to do it, but I don't do it very often. But yeah. Also, are you on any of the ME Facebook pages? I am. I'm on Myalgic Encephalomyelitis Global. Moderately active there. That page is, they're really the ones that kind of inspired me to start the channel, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm there. Which one are you on? Blessed Hope, I'm so afraid to start dating again. My adult children want me to start, and I'm like, no. Give it a chance. I mean, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you find someone who loves you and understands the illness, or at least tries and is actively trying to understand the illness, they may never understand it, and they show you some sympathy and some care and some affection, those go a long way when you're dealing with chronic illness. And if your kids are encouraging it, then I'm sure they love you and want the best for you. So I encourage you to get out there, give it a chance, listen to your children. I know it's easier said than done, but try what you can. Alicia, thanks, great chat. Thank you. Nice chatting with you as well. And stay safe and be careful out there. Also on the global one and ME Action, Canada ones. I'm in Toronto. Awesome. I've always wanted to go to Toronto, and I'm also on ME Action. I'm trying to actually interview the director of ME Action. I've sent a couple emails. I thought it would be great to do an interview. I thought it would be great to interview and kind of just let people know what ME Action is doing. Surprisingly, ME Action doesn't have that many people on the page. So shoot them a message. Tell them that they should let me interview them on here and via Zoom. I think it would be helpful to spread the word and to raise money. Blessed Hope, you're going to give it a shot? Good. I'm glad. Give it a shot. Don't be afraid if it doesn't work out well. Don't be afraid if people don't understand ME and you have a hard time. Their loss. You sound like a very nice person. Thanks so much for the chat. So lonely and nice to actually talk to someone. I'm glad it helps in any way, and I love chatting with you guys because even though I'm blessed enough to have family and friends that understand, like I said earlier, no one quite understands like you guys do. So if I tell you guys I'm dealing with brain fog, you guys get it. Yeah, I hope I can interview them too. I've sent emails. I've actually talked to them before. I have somewhat of a rapport because I was going to volunteer with ME Action, and I came down with the vestibular neuritis, and I got pretty sick with that and took a lot of rehab, so I didn't get to do it. So I had been talking to ME Action. I was in contact with them a little bit. I think it was the director of ME Action, and then I just lost touch because I was in rehab and feeling really sick for like 9 months. And then, yeah, I'd like to reach out to them again. And I kind of just want to give them another platform, even though they have a pretty large platform. I just want to get videos out there about what ME Action is doing. I think they're doing a lot of great things. I think they're supporting the ME community. They're talking to congressmen. They're doing a lot of good stuff. But I do think they could be a little bit better at sharing what they're doing with the ME community. And that's not a knock on them. They're doing a million different things, and I'm thankful for them. But if they can get on my channel, other channels, and do these interviews and just kind of get it out there in YouTube, I think it'll go a long way. It also, I think, gives people hope. I think it gives people hope that there's healthy, smart people fighting on the behalf of ME. ME Action's doing a lot. Millions Missing. Jen Brea, I think, is one of the founders of ME Action, if I'm not wrong, but they're doing a lot, and I think a lot of people need to see that. People that do feel lonely, you feel less lonely knowing that people are fighting for you behind the scenes, even if you don't know them and you don't know exactly what it is they're doing day to day. But that's what ME Action can do. They can let people know what they're doing on a day-to-day basis and let them know that they're fighting for us, that they've tried to get a hold of congressmen to champion this illness, that they've tried to have people put in new legislation for more funding for ME. So those things are happening, and it's super important for people to see that. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a day. I think I'm getting pretty hungry here, and I'm gonna make some food. I thank you for chatting with me. This helps me, honestly, to talk about something I don't have a lot of people to talk to about. Because like I said, even though I have a lot of family that listens, they don't really get it. I'm sure you guys understand that. So to all the people in the chat, thank you, and people who might watch this after, thank you for watching. And I will, if people enjoyed this, I'll do another live chat sometime soon if I'm not, hit too hard with the brain fog. Stay safe. Be careful with this COVID out there. Be careful, and I hope everyone's feeling well. Until next time, take care, everybody.